everybody, how you doing today? My name's Marshall Hill. I'm a chef. I own my own business, and this is Go Cry in the Walk-In. I've been a chef for more than 30 years. About 20 of it was in the hotel business, big boxes, Marriott, Sheraton's, Radisson's, big hotels. Awesome gig. I did 6 years with adult living, and then the last 4 years I've had my own catering business. In the last 4 years, one of the biggest things that I miss is about 95% of my business is I work by myself. So in working by myself, I miss hanging out with the pirates. You guys know what the pirates are. The pirates are the guys you work with on a day-to-day basis that are literally, they're always one step away from just either getting locked up or you just never see these fuckers again. And I miss that. As crazy as that sounds, I miss the pirates. That being said, is one of the best things about hanging in those groups of pirates are the stories that you hear. For years and years and years, man, I remember when I was a young chef and a young cook, and I loved hanging out with you old guys and listen to the war stories that they would tell. Most of them involving like incredible, just ridiculous stories. Half of the stories they told, you knew were complete bullshit. The other half, probably bullshit too, but for the most part, they had a funny twist to them. Some of them involved the kitchen. Some of them involved going out at the end of your shift and hanging out with other pirates. So what I want to do with this channel is to tell the stories of the pirates, the day-to-day stuff that we go through as chefs, as line cooks, as just food and beverage in general, and just tell your story. Because they're all awesome, man. Now that I don't get to hang out with as many pirates as I used to, I miss that more than anything. And it's that camaraderie, and it's that gift of bullshit that we all have. And to sit down and share these stories, and I think the world needs to hear them. The best stories that I have are from one place that I worked. It was back in Buffalo. It's kind of where I grew up. My first big time chef job, and I was a sous chef working at this hotel. So everybody picked the thing with working at a hotel is that you have to do stuff outside of your department. And part of that is you have to do what's called an MOD shift, or a manager on duty shift. And that's like the biggest piece of shit that you have to do, but you have to do it. We all hated it. Nobody likes to not be in the kitchen. When you're a chef, the last thing you want to do is put on a suit and tie and wander around and be nice to people, because those people aren't pirates. We love hanging out with pirates. So the first 3 MOD shifts I had there, and I was in my mid-20s, and they were just horrible. And whenever my name came up on the schedule to do MOD, everybody in the room knew that something fucked up was going to happen. It always did. It was just crazy, man. I was that guy, and something stupid always happened when I did these MOD shifts. So the most memorable one it was around Thanksgiving time. I was MOD scheduled for Wednesday night. So starting in this, I need to foreshadow this a little bit, is that hotel that we worked at, they had a huge citywide competition for gingerbread houses. And the weekend after Thanksgiving they did a big, huge thing down to the convention center, and they judged all these like massive gingerbread houses. And for years, the hotel that I worked at would win every year. And all this money went to charity, and it was so awesome. And so we would start working on it like midsummer. So me and one of the other sous and the executive chef, we all put our heads together, and we came up with this idea for this huge gingerbread house. And that gingerbread house would sit in our lobby for from a week before Thanksgiving to the week after Thanksgiving, when we delivered it to the person that won the bid on this gingerbread house. So we had hundreds of hours between the 3 of us on building this gingerbread house. So, had to tell that to tell this. So, the week of Thanksgiving, we had the World Wrestling Federation was coming to town. And the first night that they were there, they actually didn't wrestle in Buffalo. They wrestled in Erie, Pennsylvania. So it was easier for Buffalo to be a hub, where those guys all drove from Buffalo all the way down to Erie, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And then when they were done, they would come back. So we had it figured out that they wouldn't be back into the hotel until like 11, 12 o'clock at night. So there really wasn't a whole lot of things we needed to do with it. So I was working the line that night, finished up my shift. There was a bar across the street called Jack's. That's where all of us from the hotel would hang out after work. Have a couple of beers, shoot the shit, tell pirate stories, and hang out. So we were over there. Sitting across the bar from us was two of these very, very well-known wrestlers. Not going to give their names. I don't need anybody showing up on my doorstep for thinking I told some bullshit because, again, 50% of this, logistically, could be bullshit. So, they're sitting across. These guys, when you watch them on TV, they're like arch nemesis. They can't, like, they fight each other all the time. And what we saw was those two sitting there having a couple of beers. Talked to them, really nice guys, understood everything that they were, trying to say as far as like, how wrestling works. And, it's all a fucking show. So, hang out with those guys. The next night, Wednesday night, before Thanksgiving, I was MOD. Wednesday night in the hotel, we had a huge nightclub. On this night, ladies' night, that nightclub in there would be packed. There'd be 500-600 people in this nightclub on a Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving. So I'm in my little suit and tie. I'm walking the floors. I'm on like the 14th, 15th floor or whatever. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Some of the wrestlers had finished their show down in, I think it was called The Aud at the time. I don't know if that was still standing or not. But they had finished their show. They came back to the hotel. These guys are all like massive muscle guys. They're going down to hit ladies' night. So I'm walking the floors. I'm way up in the tower. I get a call on the radio that there's a fight in the club. So MOD, I got to go down and find out what's going on. So I take the elevator down, haul ass through the hallways to get to the entrance of the nightclub. So as I'm walking up to there, there's one of our bouncers who, all these guys, no necks, massive guys, has this little guy and he's jacking him down the stairs out into the lobby. So, commotion is breaking out, and then all of a sudden the two wrestlers that we saw the night before and were having beers with, they come walking out. So I'm talking to the bouncer. The bouncer says that this little guy was talking shit to the two wrestlers, decided that he was going to be a fucking tough guy and throw a fucking beer at one of these fucking huge, fucking gargantuan men. And when, oddly enough, that wrestler that the bottle hit took offense to that and addressed the situation. I can understand that guy's officially a pirate. Love that. So he grabs that dude. Fight breaks out. Bouncers grab those guys. Basically, the wrestlers was just saying, hey man, it's just a bunch of fucking locals fucking with us. So they jack this little guy out into the lobby. The two wrestlers come out. All the bouncers are standing around. Somebody had already called the cops. So the wrestlers were like, man, I don't want to cause a big deal about this, but, fucking I want to press charges against this piece of shit. So we're getting everything calmed down, and this little guy's still being a piece of shit. fucking talking junk. And the wrestlers are cool as shit, man. They had to have dealt with this all the time. So, anyways, the cop shows up. This cop is all of like 22 years old. So, the one wrestler starts walking towards the cop. And as he gets close to the cop freaks out. He backs up and fucking maces. Maces this giant ass motherfucker. And all hell breaks out in the fucking lobby again. Last thing I saw was somebody grabbing somebody else and throwing them on top of our gingerbread house that we spent all these fucking hours making. Smashing it to a million pieces. Candy and fucking frostings laying everywhere. They get everything cleared up, and I was like, fuck this. Turn in the keys, turn in the radio, I'm going home. That's my story. So I hope everybody loved that. If you like what I'm doing, please like, share, subscribe. We'll be putting out more stories, hopefully a lot. I have a ton of friends in food and beverage. All these people have stories. I've sat in bars with them until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning telling these stories over and over and over again and laughing my ass off. So if you like what I do, that's great. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, go cry in the fucking walk-in.